Aloha. With this video, I wanted to break down another Joe Rogan, regular Joe consciousness sort of Americana perspective. Now that Alex Jones has been removed in a sense from the biggest platforms that are out there, which is not even really a big thing to talk about, other than I'll briefly go into like how I see that. But knowing that Alex Jones is an actor, knowing that the system does everything it does everything on purpose, this is a strategy. You're not really gonna know exactly what the intentions are until the aftermath, until they tell you what the next story is going to be. You can theorize on what the system is doing when they make a big move like that. That was a strategic move to gather Apple, YouTube, Twitter, and all these big stations, and then take this dude out. So it's not really about Alex Jones, it's about what Alex Jones represents. Alex Jones represents the ability to speak without being persecuted. So beyond the Constitution, that is a question that is being presented to the people. That is not a question of the Constitution. It's a question of the authority. Since they have the authority, what that move meant was, it meant that your Constitution, it was a formal statement to the people to say, fuck your Constitution. Your Constitution doesn't matter. So, and it never did. It never mattered in the first place. But when they make a move like that and say, no, this is how we're going to make you bow down and throw your own Constitution away, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to get these grandiose sort of conspiracy theorists, put them out there, make fun of them. Don't think they weren't planning this out when they were making fun of Alex Jones on the Stephen Colbert late night talk show. They made an entire caricature with Stephen Colbert on the Tonight Show or the Late Night Show, whatever it is. They made an entire, they started making fun of this dude on the mainstream media. He's connected to some of the big, he's basically like a wide stroke brush, a broad spectrum approach to anybody who thinks or is considering speaking about anything that is on the fringe of mainstream reality. On one level, it was a fear hit. It was like a punch to the face to people who are starting to talk about things. So people who are scary or on the fence about what's going on, that now they have more fear of being locked down and knocked out of even being able to speak, so they won't say anything. On the other hand, you have the power structure, the unifying. You have Apple, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, all these people coming together. Now you know that they're a superpower. Now you know that they have one agenda. I mean, we already knew before, and you didn't need any proof that they had the same agenda. It's just like the different news stations that are out there. You know that they have the same agenda. I mean, I got proof of this when I walked into a Fox News like plant. They had this guy. His name was, the video is still up too. This is a whole thing. I never shared this online before, but this is a whole thing. You can still look it up too. I think his name was Ari Horowitz or something like that, or I don't know. This dude was like I think he still is. He was like a Fox News instigator. He would go out to different locations, and he would, like this location in particular, he went to UC Berkeley. And he went into one UC Berkeley in location where there's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of people. And if there's people around there, they're students who are going to class and they don't really want to deal with anything. So he went to a part in UC Berkeley. This is how they control the narrative. And you can find this video. In fact, I might link it. I'll link it in the description below. so you can look at it. But I've never used it or spoken on it any way other than this. So Fox News paid this guy to go to UC Berkeley and wave an ISIS flag. This is Fox News. Fox News. They paid him to do this. He went there, waved an ISIS flag. This was the day before. I think it was the day before I showed up, because I went there the next day or whenever it was. I don't know when he did the other one, because I think his clothes might have been different, so it might have been a different day. So the day that I went there, he was down there in the main strip where it's more like public people. There's there's students and the public can just walk through. It's the main thoroughfare that's connected right to Telegraph Avenue. And you can walk from the street straight into this guy and this guy's waving an Israeli flag. So now he's waving this flag, and he's trying to. The game was to see which kind of response that he would get from people. And then they played the whole "oh, liberals are all stupid. They're more angry at Israel than they are at the ISIS flag." So that's what Fox News played. And what Fox News, what happened was, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen after I realized it was a setup. So that's when I started researching afterwards and saw how the mainstream media is all one unit. I proved it for myself at that moment, and this was in like 2014. So what happened was, I walked up being somewhat naive to what was going on. I started engaging the guy because and you'll see if you watch the video, he was just obviously, Israel means, what was he saying? I should have watched this. I didn't know I was going to talk about this before, but he was like, Israel is, I don't want to put it on this video either because he might put a strike on this because they're kind of like these sleazy kind of people. Before that, basically he was just talking about how Israel is like pro-humanity and about love and all this other shit. And, or I think so, yeah. And then I was basically taking the perspective of how flags in general are used to divide and conquer the entire world, especially this Israel United States connection. So of course he took that and just went immediately to anti-Semitism, because that's what they do to protect themselves. They're funded by Israel. So what happened was, he's waving that, he's talking that, and what happens is that I look like the bad guy. So I'm just constantly over talking him in every moment. And this went on for about, the first time what happened was I walked up, I did that for about 30 minutes because I was going to shut this dude down, and I did. I overspoke him in every statement that he made. When I walked up to him, I spoke over his every statement and just killed everything in that moment. And then he folded up his flag and walked away. None of this shit is in the video. For people who were there, they saw it. So he folded up his flag and walked away. When he walked away, I walked away down to the little creek, and I sat down there and kind of like breathed. I needed to like catch because I was just like engaging in this shit. It was so ridiculous just how energy sucking it was. So as I'm walking to the little creek, which ain't nothing but about, like a few steps away, about 20 seconds to walk away, I'm walking down towards the creek, and there's this giant ass camera, like this an actual video camera with the big, the white lenses that they have at like sports stadiums and stuff because they want to get up close. So what Fox did is they had these dudes recording from hella far away with this camera, and he had a mic on him, a little hidden mic somewhere, and then that's when he was trying to get up close. You'll see in the video how he uses that mic to try to get certain people to say certain things, but of course they only played what promoted their agenda. They didn't play everything else there. They only played a little bit of what I said in that moment. They didn't play anything about all that I said there. Anyway, So I confirmed it like halfway through me talking, halfway about me going through that dude, talking to that dude for about the first like 10, 15 minutes. That's when I realized this dude he's planted here. This is a plant. In the beginning, I just saw a dude waving an Israeli flag, and I was just like, what the fuck? So I had spare time, I'm walking around. That's why I engaged. And mind you, this was 4 years ago, so I was more in the shit in my head. I had just, finished going through the Occupy movement. I was like in the middle of transitioning from the psychological warfare into a deeper interpretation of the spiritual warfare. So in that beginning, or in that time frame, I was like right in the heart of what's going on. So this was another test for me. And another opportunity to engage in the situation that might not be comfortable, which is always a challenge. So I took it. Anyway, what happened after that is that I knew that it was a setup. I didn't know it was Fox News, though. I didn't see that. I never recognized that dude's face. So Fox actually... Anyway, I walked back up. Once I sat down by the creek, I sat there for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I was thinking to myself, okay, this is a setup. You are probably just on camera. This is probably going to go somewhere and be used against, whatever, and for the mainstream media, and then continue on. So I was like, man, fuck it, whatever. So I wanted to leave. I was going to go home. So I walked back to where I just came from, and the dude's back there. He came back. He put his flag back up on the stick and started swinging it around. As soon as he saw me, he started, shaking his head and, thinking like, oh, shit, here we go again. So I did the same thing again. And for another 20 minutes, I started doing the same thing I was doing, just talking over him and everything. And he did the same thing. He rolled up his flag and eventually walked away because everything that he said, I immediately countered it and expanded it to the bigger picture. So every little piece of shit little statement that he was obviously him acting was immediately taken and then expanded and made it was just exposing the shit out of him. So he couldn't stand there any longer. So I wanted to stick around knowing that he was a plant. I'm in his face. I'm like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of here. Like, eventually somebody else, the shit that he was saying, somebody was going to fuck him up. Because there were other people around there that were, just looking at him like, you're in the wrong spot. You done came to the wrong fucking spot. You about a hop, skip, and a jump away from North Oakland, East Oakland, and West Oakland. This Berkeley shit might deal with it, but you in the wrong fucking spot. That's like when other people talking about there's a race war and shit. Oh, you're just, when you're sharing information about racism and institutionalized racism and persecution of the indigenous people across the world, people say, oh, you're just adding to the mainstream propaganda to instill a race war. It ain't gonna be no fucking race war. You know why? Because the fucking KKK, they're not walking down the streets of East Oakland. They're not walking down the streets of South Central. They're not walking down the streets anywhere other than where their comfort zone is, and they're protected by the police department. They will never go there because they already know they have lost. The only way that they can win is through the illusions of the government. The government protects the KKK. The KKK protects the government with the police officers and with so on and so forth. So what happens is to make it look like they have more power, they have to make it look like they're equal in power, in strength. They are not. So-called white people are only 1/10 of the people in the entire world. They don't have a fucking leg to stand on. So when people are talking about this race war shit, get the fuck out of here. It's an illusion. We're talking about why racism exists. And you little punk ass little motherfuckers talking about you're triggering a race where you're just adding to the mess. Shut the with all this bullshit, man. We're exposing this so that information is known. And what happens after that, it gets dealt with. If you don't talk about it, it's not going to get dealt with. So, lost my train of thought there. Yeah, so triggering all this is just to build up the idea of like the power of the government, the power of the what exists up there, so they can present themselves on the media, which is another power cell, to make it look like they're equal, or to adjust or control the dialogue, the narrative. And they do this by setting their plants like that Ari, I think his name's Ari Horowitz. Some people might know who he is because he is like a well-known Fox dude. But what happened was, after that, that was like in the summertime. I think that was in like, it took like a month and a half or 2 months for them to repost it, because I was watching after that. So anyway, before I get there, I'll tell you, I'll go in order so I don't miss. What happened was, he rolled up his flag. Instead of walking away, I followed him back to his little seating area, which is just to the side on the grass. And I was, talking to him, and he was just trying not to say anything, trying not to like blow his cover. And I was just, I went there like I was so deep in it, because I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to the people around me, because there was people around me. So that's a very deep conversation that's going on. And it took a lot of fucking energy to do that. So I was broken down, like my body, like I was shaking. I was in that space to where I was floating, I was flying, like I was in there. And he felt that, he knew that, and I was looking, I was like, dude, you're in the wrong fucking place. Like, this is, I already know you're a plant here. I was going on and on and on and on. At this time, he gets on the phone with his producer. I'm listening to him talk to his producer. He's talking to his producer, asking, what should I do? He won't go away. He won't stop talking. What should I do? What should I do? And then eventually the producer just told him, just give it up. Just walk away. Because eventually you're going to get fucked up if you do something else. Like, it won't be me that's going to fuck you up. I'm here to intellectually and spiritually fuck you up. But I'm not. Other people might be on another kind of tip, and they'll walk up and fuck you up physically. So you'll be physically. It's not to say that I'm not there too, but I have different ways of engaging in reality. That's a last case scenario, and mostly in the defensive arena. So when that comes down, now that his producer knew that, he was like, all right, you need to just abort the situation. And he got out of there. But they still used the footage that they had to compare the Israeli flag to the ISIS flag. This is a real fucking thing that happened. And Fox News did it. What happened was, after that, they posted a little 2-minute video clip showing their propaganda to the world on Fox News's actual website and YouTube channel. That's where I found it. When I saw it there, I saw it immediately mirrored on every single other YouTube news channel there is. This is including RT, including like MSNBC and like all these other ones, like all these like internet around, even ones around the world. Like there was a news station in England or something like that. In that same moment, it was posted at the same time, as if these channels were all instructed to post this information or this video right at that same moment. I'm telling you, you can probably still find those videos right now to this day, except for the one they posted to Fox News's homepage, because that one was getting millions and millions of views, and it wasn't because they were agreeing with the dude and the intention of the video. They were agreeing with what I was saying. They were agreeing with what I said and how I closed the video out, because they used the exposing that shit, how it bounced back. Another part of it was, dumbass people like, talking. They wanted people to get on the tip of seeing how dumb people are, specifically people in college. So they wanted to get liberal, obviously, if they're in Berkeley. They wanted liberal college students who it makes for a good headline. You know, it's just like collegiate students are, you know, praising ISIS and they hate Israel. These are the liberal idiots. That's what Fox News wants to present to the people. So what happened is, I went back, I saw that video. It was totally blown out of, you know, context, like on my end, like what they were trying to make me look bad, but they ended up just making me look kind of good in that sense for people who know what the fuck is going on. And then, so I saw it blasted all over the place. And this motherfucker's doing interviews. He's doing interviews like on different news stations around the world. So what happens is all these millions of views on the YouTube, they cut it off. As soon as they cut it off, I look for it again, and this dude uploads it on his channel, on his YouTube channel. So if you go there and look for it, you'll find it. But I'll link it in there if it's still I'll link it in the description right now, and you can go look at it and pause this and go look at it and come back. But anyway, that was not really shocking to me, but it was really revealing to know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that every single media news station, including RT, at that time I was like, RT feels a little different. You know, they talk about something else. Not like I had any trust, not like I had any trust in RT. It was just like, what is this difference going on here? And that's when I saw the complexities being sold to people on a more complex, dumbed down perspective. So the same thing goes for like TYT. So the same difference between RT and CNN, or RT and Fox and RT and MSNBC, the same difference there is the same difference between all those stations and TYT, and all those stations and Alex Jones, and all those stations and Joe Rogan. So what they're doing is they're actually making the authority of truth. They're making the authority of information, and all the authority is based upon covering the empire, protecting the empire. The same way the History Channel and your history books in the education system teach you Black history up to slavery, because you disempower the people when you create their history from slavery. Everything else, like Dr. John Henrik Clarke said, everything else looks like progress once your history starts at slavery. So the same thing is happening on a day-to-day basis. They're telling you that everything's fucked up. So everything that happens that's in a sort of positive light, it looks like a great thing. So enter in Obama after piece of shit George Bush. Enter in, and it goes up and down. So enter in Donald Trump after Obama. So this is how the fuck you're getting played right now, every single moment of every single day. It is not a little thing. So what's happening on a daily basis is they mix and match, or they bounce back and forth between perspectives and their little pawns that they have out there, like Joe Rogan. When they cut Alex Jones out, they were making a statement to the world about who's the authority. The Constitution is not the authority anymore. The power of social media, the power of technology, the techies, they are the power now, because you've given them their power by investing in their technology and investing your livelihood, your life inside their technology. So they own, so they're recreating the new Constitution. And what's happening now, I saw another take on this. It's getting even more complex, and they want to make you believe a certain thing. Bill Maher talked about Alex Jones, and Bill Maher, when he mentioned Alex Jones was taken out, his audience started applauding. So what they did is made it look like his audience is not totally told to do what it's supposed to be doing. It's not like the audience is not instructed to laugh at certain times, or groan at certain times, or yell or interrupt at certain times. As if that's not the case. They try to play that's not the case all the time. But this time they wanted to make it more complex and make it look like there was a difference there, because Bill Maher took the space of, since they applauded for Alex Jones being taken out, Bill Maher took the space of, well, we need to protect our right to free speech for everybody. That doesn't mean some people who go against the fringe, or go against the grain, we need to protect everybody. So he went in on all that, and then all these people were like, oh, they've started feeling stupid now, because that's the main point, is because the majority of people who are just watching news, they just believe whatever the herd says. They just believe what everybody's clapping about. They don't give a shit about anything else. They just keep on doing what everybody else is doing. So you have the Constitution that's dying right now, and that's the little leg that this government, this empire had to stand on. It never had any legs to stand on in the first place, but even the illusory legs they have to stand on are falling apart. And the only people that are holding up are arrogant pieces of shit like Joe Rogan and all these other people. And this is a perfect video to explain that and the agenda behind that. So I'll play this whole video. I'll try to just let it play and go through, and then I'll come back. There was just like 4 or 5 different points that I know I could go off on his regular Joe. Just like, basically, he's a robot. He's an American apple pie robot, and he just totally believes in everything the government and the science world says. That is his strength. If he was going to lift weights, like in a gym, his gym would be red, white, and blue painted, and he'd be lifting weights of like, bacon, and lifting weights of like meat and like apple pie, all this, anything American. He's gonna defend it first and foremost. He takes that position, and then he'll go in to say real quick, that might be true, but the majority of his radio waves are doing what? Defending the theoretical universe that this Western empire has created. He'll spend all that time discrediting and making other people look like shit, look stupid, look like they're wrong. And keep this in mind when you're watching this video. He'll make his own panelists, his own friends look like dumbasses, Eddie Bravo. And take it a step even further. If one of these are actors, they're the majority. There's going to be other actors there. So that's going down. But the point is, this is no different than watching Fox News. The same intent that Fox, MSNBC, and CNN has on the people is what Joe Rogan has on the people. That's his intention, to make people believe and limit their consciousness to the regular average Joe powerless perspective of giving all your power away to this system and never addressing anything before the Columbian era. They have to worship everything that's here, and you'll see that they have to worship space. They got to worship science and technology. They still think that they came from monkeys, or at least have people thinking that they came from monkeys. They still think that, this system is the evolutionary peak of reality of humanity. They still think that indigenous people prior to now were primitive and savage. And that adds to the evolution theory and so on and so forth. And if I remember correctly, if this is the right video, then he goes through pretty much every single one of those points in one way or another. So I'll play this now, and you can see for yourself. I think that was the end of the whole. Before I go, I think that was the end of the Fox News thing. Because that was it. It was really just for me to confirm the news stations. They're all one at that time. Because you can confirm it, but when you're in the shit, like when you're in that and you see it and it's personal like that, that's a different story. Because my fucking face and my voice was used on these fucking big ass news channels, and they were trying to sell a certain agenda. So that was very personal to me. But that's happening to everybody. Everything and every idea that's being floated out there. Like I said, this was 4 years ago, so I was kind of in a different mode or in a different approach. Not that much at the same time, but like today, I wouldn't even engage in that shit. I'd watch it, I'd laugh. I'd speak to him more, like one-on-one. I'd just find different ways other than just kind of like yelling and all that other. That's still like in the protest mentality. But you understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, that was the end of that one, but that's another story that exists that's just, it's just some bullshit. And I forgot why I think I just wanted to add that to the authority of information, the authority of maintaining a particular velocity or speed limit for consciousness. This is what's happening. As long as they can keep you dumbed down, they can keep control over you. If you start moving too fast and getting too smart and getting too strong, they can't control you anymore. So people like Joe Rogan are out there to maintain the stupidity and the ignorance of the mainstream or the world populace in order to protect the empire that makes its money off of parasiting off of, weak-minded and ignorant and just codependent masses of people. And since they're all good, they're all paid off, they're all, good, they don't have to. He goes in here talking about, maybe that's the other one, or I think there was another video where he was talking to this dude and he was like, I was not approached by the CIA, like my family was not approached. Okay, guys, come on, that's a total conspiracy theory. And he just goes on and on and on about how he's the victim here. Oh, goodness gracious, Joe Rogan, you're such the victim of persecution. What the fuck? So anyway, yeah, let me just play this because the video's running. So
new thing. This is a new thing. So because this is
human
a new
nature,
thing,
I feel like for some reason,
but
it's
it is
the
human
exact
nature.
same thing. I think
it is human nature, but I don't understand what your point is.
Well, I guess what I'm asking here is
keep in mind at the same time, like I said, the way people communicate, the style, the tone, the approach. This guy actually challenges Joe Rogan. Like Eddie Bravo challenges Joe Rogan. Not many people go on his show and challenge him. So when he does that, he has to get in. He has to put his big boy pants on. You got your big boy pants on? You got your big? Yeah, you got to put his big boy pants on, and he has to start shutting people down because his narrative has to be the alpha narrative. And if anybody else brings any alpha energy or alpha information, because you don't have to be an alpha male or an alpha energy in order to share alpha information. This is a thing, and I use that just to talk to paint some color on the difference between people who go on his show like Brian Callen and just pretty much just jerk him off all day. They just talk about like, whatever Joe wants to talk about. Oh, like a little lap dog, like that cartoon with that little dog. It's, come on, Spike, what we gonna do today, Spike? What is Spike? Come on, Spike. That's like all those little peons, that little pieces of shit like Brian Callen he has chasing Joe Rogan. What? Come on, Spike, what do you want to do? Oh, you believe that? I believe that too. I believe that. Oh, I totally believe that. Oh, you believe? What do you believe today, Joe Rogan? What do you believe? Come on, with Joe Rogan, what do you believe? What are we gonna believe tomorrow, Joe Rogan? That's how people are following this piece of shit. And anybody who challenges his word, it's like challenging the word of the preacher, and the preacher is speaking the word of God. So the word of God in this scenario is what? It's the government, it's the empire, it's the system, it's what he's clearly protecting. So anytime anybody presents any kind of and it doesn't take much to be an alpha information spreader. Because what happens is that you can see it immediately challenges the beta empire. This is what's happening right now. There's a beta empire that exists only in this is the empire of the jester. The jester can only max out at the beta because the jester makes its money off of illusion, off of trickery, off of maintaining its kingdom from keeping people enslaved, by keeping people dumbed down. So you're not a true alpha. You're a synthetic alpha. You're only an alpha in reaction to weak people, but those people aren't normally weak. Those people are actually very strong, and you've convinced them to be. So you're a trickster alpha. But a trickster alpha, when presented with a real alpha, will get its head fucking ripped off. This is why Joe Rogan cannot speak to real people. He can only talk to these fake ass actors and anybody else. And then since these actors are real people, people eat that shit up. They think it's real. They think their perspectives are real. But they never, ever, ever get to the heart of the issue. They only talk about the outskirts of information. So Joe Rogan is one example. The biggest example is the mainstream media as a whole, who interviews all these political pundits and all these other, whoever else is out there, politicians, and they're doing the same thing. They're maintaining a perspective, the beta unit perspective. This is beta unit humanity, trying to convince you that it's the evolutionary peak of humanity. And you have these alpha kings and queens waking up and burning this shit down. And there's nothing they can do about it because they're illusions. They never had the strength. They never had the power. They never had the offense and the defense. They only had our weakness that we have been convinced and conditioned into. And once we believed it, we gave them the power. But now we're not giving them the power anymore. We used to give it to them more easily when we were just watching the news and believing everything that was said, like the 9/11 narrative and the all these other false flag narratives that are out there. That's a power. And people like Joe Rogan maintain that power by saying, look, the authority on information, the authority on truth is the mainstream media, is the government, is the politics. They are the authority on what is real, what is allowable to be spoken. He's agreeing with Facebook. He agrees with Spotify. He agrees with everybody that is in and around that world. He agrees with them, and he doesn't want to say that he agrees with them, but he agrees with them outwardly because he is the protector of that. No different than him protecting heliocentrism. He is paid to do that, whether he knows it or not, and he knows that shit. But like I said, I'm only in the 99.99999 forever percentile of knowing that because I don't know for sure. Like I haven't talked to that dude. Like even if I talk to him, I know like I would only get another 0.9 in there of knowing. But unless you catch that dude, like, you know, talking in a conversation about like how they're going to manipulate the conversation to, you know, tell this kind of story to people or subconsciously say this to people, you know, that's happening. And his little like lackey that looks for all these articles when they start talking about stuff, his lackey does the same thing. His lackey actually looks for his lackey is actually more hardcore in that perspective because he has to find the articles to back this shit up, and then he'll just back up anytime Joe Rogan runs into trouble when he's facing another alpha person or alpha opinion or alpha information. That's when he gets backed up by Google and his little lackey in the back talking about, well, you know, we can't talk like that and da 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 da. They're doing the same shit. So this guy challenges his whatever, or at least wants to make it look like he's challenging his Joe Rogan's appearance. And then he takes it to another space of like, you can see how Joe Rogan just gets kind of put in a corner because the guy just doesn't like sit back and let Joe Rogan run all over him like all of it, like Brian Callen and all these other pieces of shits that are going on there, just too ignorant, stupid, or wanted to be a part of the cool crowd to say anything real about the situation. So they just go along with his bullshit. This guy, I think he's a comedian or something, but he kind of pushes the limit, and he's at least open. That's the main point. At least be open to questioning the reality. Joe Rogan is paid to make people not be open, not even be open to questioning your reality, not even be open to critical thought, to only listen to this synthetic alpha information from these synthetic alpha people like Joe Rogan and the authority of the mainstream media. His intention is to make you believe in the jester empire, and that's why he has nothing to back it up with.
Is in the way of I just feel like the Russian bot thing was all of that. I feel like the Russian bots is a term for people who don't understand computers in a way, and they've just kind of thrown that out there as a political device.
Sometimes
I think that Russia.
Sometimes, well, okay. Sometimes, if they're doing it sometimes, then they are doing it all times. It's that little quick little. It's like, oh, yeah, that might be true. That's what sometimes in the way he said it means. It's like, oh, that might be true. I kind of agree with you, so I'm not disagreeing with you. But the main point is he's saying it's the but. But the majority, that's why he said sometimes. It's not the majority of times that they're doing that. Clearly, the majority of times they're just telling us real information. Come on, you don't believe that's un-American to think they're talking about something else like that. What the hell? And that's how quick that is. Joe Rogan said that all of that I just said, he said all of that in that one little word, in that one little quick little moment while this guy is saying what he's saying. And that's how slick this piece of shit is.
China, Korea, like every other fucking country that is enabled in a way in which they're so far ahead technologically, was involved in all kinds of fuckery, and they're still involved in it, and will still do that. During the election, it was fucking 100 times.
For sure.
But, it's hard for me, with, back circling around to the Alex Jones thing. All of this new technology, all of the people who are woke on Facebook. They're woke on Facebook.
If you're wake, they know you're an agent.
Yeah, you're woke on Facebook.
I'm so wake.
It's like I felt bad for fucking Childish Gambino that he had a song that had "Stay Woke" in it, because immediately that song that was what an amazing song, and it was that term became dumb immediately. But I just feel like all of this that's happening, all of this talk, all of him getting banned, all this stuff, it's all this.
See, what another thing that they do is making fun of like woke. So the same thing that Joe Rogan does by making fun of like the mainstream media or certain people or certain perspectives. Well, the new age community and the so-called conscious community or woke community that's being sponsored by the mainstream media, just like the mainstream media sponsored Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement and all this other bullshit. That's why that stuff is sponsored. Those systems, those programs are sponsored by those people, so they can be used as punching bags by people like Joe Rogan. They can be used as punching bags. They can say, "Oh, well, those are the fake woke people," and people like Joe Rogan, those are the real woke people, because they're rational. They still think about the government and in a positive light. But all these woke people out there, they're in the conspiracy theories, and they're kind of weird, and something's off, and they just believe everything that they see. So it creates instability, it creates chaos, and that's another thing I think is going to say in this video. Keep in mind, I wanted to emphasize it, so I'll emphasize it now, so you can, when it hits you, it's going to hit you just as hard. This dude actually said something like protecting or getting chaos out of chaos, or protecting chaos out of chaos. And I don't know if that was a slip or he said it on purpose, and I don't even know if it's in this video, but that's basically what they're doing. They maintain chaos so that they can maintain their persona of the superhero against chaos. The same way they created the war on terrorism or the war on terror to make it look like they were superheroes. It's the same thing. So they're doing it with information now. They can't go to war like the old war. They can go to war, and people are still gonna believe that shit. But the old false flag war tactics are not as effective as they used to be, because the way information is being passed around. This is why 9/11 was kind of like the last big thing, because they knew the internet was going to start like hitting. So they hit it right before the internet was getting big, so people can believe it. But right now, the internet and communication has gotten so big, they're immediately, every single move that they make is on on blast, and it's not as bankable. So they have to play the long run now and start to attack people on the psychological warfare. They moved from physical warfare now to more gearing towards psychological warfare. And this is the psychological warfare. These are your knights and your rooks, people like Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, TYT, and the mainstream media, and Donald Trump. They are all the pieces on the board. Now they're actually showing people the physical warfare, because you can't psychological warfare. They're showing people the psychological warfare. You can't psychologically control or get people in a psychological warfare until they are aware of a psychological warfare. So this is them trying to create this idea of what you think you're supposed to think the psychological warfare is about. And then once you are aware of it, now you can be controlled by it. And the point is, they're only giving you a slight awareness of it to maintain your insecurity, your codependency, and your chaos in that process. And in that process, what did they do? They created another layer of attachment that you need for them or from them. And then once you're in that space, they got you again, the same way with physical warfare. So the way they keep it alive and keep it believable is get arrogant and egotistical pieces of shit like Joe Rogan out here to floss his ego in front of everybody and simultaneously beat down your ability to critically think, because you don't want to think different than the cool guy. Like, you don't want to think differently than Neil deGrasse Tyson. You don't want to think, you don't want to be dumb, right? Like, he's the smartest guy in the world. You don't want to be, that's what's being told to you. Same thing with like Joe Rogan. If you think differently than Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're fucking dumb. Like, that's what they're telling you. They're like, what? Flat Earth? You're fucking dumb. Like, look how smart Neil deGrasse. Hi, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm here. I know about gravity. Look at this. Ha ha ha. You don't see boats going over the curve. I'm gonna drop this mic here, and that will be the crown on my head of the authority of information all over the world, and you'll believe it because you're a following ass little motherfucker. So that's what they do to everybody. Joe Rogan does the same thing.
Kind of like the effect of the world. Instead of being out in the world, everyone has gone to this point where it's, these groups, these really rich groups, Google and Facebook and Twitter and all this, and everyone has gone to this central point, and now they're lynching people, whether or not you agree with Alex Jones, whether or not you like him, whether or not you think he's being lynched in the situation.
I lost you right there. So I get that there's all these people that are doing all these different nefarious things, and this has been going on forever, and now they're using new systems to do that. They're using the internet and all these open pipes and these connections that they can make to you.
But the trick is that the public is there. They've gotten them to go to this one arena. Mm-hmm. That is my problem with it. Is it's like, as much of a nerd and a technology person I am, I hate that people have, instead of really, I'm sure they have their own lives, but like the fact that we have become so centralized to these small groups of internet companies like social media and things, and then now it's on both sides, man. Alex Jones is getting lynched, Harvey Weinstein, whatever. I know he's
that's a very different thing.
Things, but everyone,
that's a very, 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 very different thing.
I'm not defending him,
but I don't understand how you made that
behavior. But
what's the connection?
The connection is the fact.
The connection is people are just attacking him. They're finding a place to attack.
The minute look, those people could have suits against Harvey Weinstein. We can know about it. Of course, we knew about it because the Wall Street Journal or whoever, New York Times, who ran that thing.
Was it New Yorker?
Yeah, it was the New Yorker.
Yeah.
But like,
shout out to Ron Farrell.
Another thing to keep in mind during this is, like I said, maintaining the focus is that even when Joe Rogan appears to disagree with this guy or anybody that he disagrees with, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because how many hours of time are spent programming you about what they want you to know about and what they want you to talk about. Like, they're talking about the situations that they want you to talk about, like Harvey Weinstein, Trump. Like, they want you to talk about Trump every day. They want you to talk about this, whatever, every day. Why? Because they don't want you to talk about everything else. So Joe Rogan puts these podcasts, he puts hours and hours and hours of information out there. That's sucking up hours and hours and hours of information and potentiality and consciousness from people because they're buying into the world that he works for.
My point is
leave
that,
me
like,
alone.
You know, I mean, I'm sure this is an unpopular opinion, but I just feel like that the centralization.
You know why he has to say that? Because Alex Jones is all about popular opinions. Alex Jones is the popular opinion. That's what I said about the average Joe consciousness. He represents the popular opinion. And if you go against the popular opinion, you're not a part of the popular crowd. You're not a pop star. You're just a regular star. And in fact, you're not even a star. You're just a little piece of shit. You're nothing. Be like us.
Of society into social media is resulting in a lot of things that are very ugly. And I think that the Russian bot thing, the Chinese hackers thing, the Alex Jones issue, the Me Too movement, all that stuff, which I'm behind all the people that were hurt. I'm behind the Sandy Hook.
You hear his breath, his breathing?
Who had the bad experiences in Hollywood, all that.
Affecting you.
So what are you proposing?
And
What are you
other
saying?
people.
I'm just saying that
He's
I think
talking to
that
you.
it's unhealthy. I think the social media thing has become too centralized. There needs to be a
Centralized.
decentralized source.
How's it centralized?
see-
Because it's only
You see how he's over talking him now? He's shutting him down without even having to say anything. Centralized. What do you mean centralized? He's killing everything. He's killing his ability to even fucking think or get a fucking word out. He's trying to kill it because it challenges his popular opinion stream of consciousness. He's trying to say, I think we should start thinking differently and start, like, you know, questioning what's being said and being told to us. And then Joe Rogan's just defending I think we should
groups like Facebook,
and
Twitter,
they are.
Instagram.
I mean, it's 100% centralized. I mean, it's owned by a group. It's several groups. It's several. Everyone's kind of going to McDonald's to have these conversations, as opposed to it being something that is a little more healthy. I just think that people. I think Alex Jones should have always been able to be crazy in his world, and he was always nice to me. And like you said, he's your friend. You
know what the problem with Alex is? He needs someone sitting right next to him. Someone like me. Someone who, when he talks and he says something crazy, go, wait a minute, how do you know that? And he goes, well, we have the documents. Well, show me the documents. Well, the documents don't say that. Well, the problem is, Joe, that they are definitely trying to influence. And you go, yeah, they probably are. But if you leave him alone, and just let him rant. By the way, he's doing 6 hours, 8 hours of radio a fucking day. And he's definitely likes to drink. So he's doing 6 hours of radio a day.
He's
at
pulling
least 3
away.
of them are drunk. And he's fucking...
He's pulling away from Alex Jones right now. This is him pulling away from Alex. All eyes are on Joe Rogan right now because they want to see what he does. Is he going to go further into what Alex was talking about since they were friends? Or is he going to protect the empire? And of course he's going to protect the empire because Alex Jones still works for the empire too. But Joe Rogan, still in the light of control over the masses, Joe Rogan is still on the board. When they appeared to take Alex Jones off the board, like he has no power anymore. So if they take Joe Rogan off the board too, then that's just centralizing the power again. But he's still a very effective piece on the board. So this is why he's distancing himself from Alex Jones, or at least trying to appear to distance himself from Alex Jones, but still not really like formally doing it. He's not going there because he doesn't want to appear to take the side of anybody. He wants to stay in the middle, but he's clearly on the side of Google, Facebook, Spotify, Twitter, and all those other people. He's on the side of the public popular opinion.
One time and screaming, and no one can say anything to him. And he's the fucking man over there. That's also part of the problem. He's got a bunch of these other people that are around him all the time, and they're conspiracy theorists as well, but they're 28, and then they're hanging out with Alex Jones, and he goes on these rants, and no one interrupts him.
It's a broad argument with all of it because I agree, but he was always transmitting. He was always like, "Hey, show me where the Satanists are going to worship to sacrifice children."
That's fine, but
I get it.
I think what happened happened is now the idea is that he's influencing people politically, like the whole Podesta, Pizzagate, that all that stuff was.
So you have free speech. Oh, thank you, Christopher Columbus. You have free speech as long as that free speech doesn't influence political opinions. That's just what he said right now. Like, you can talk all kinds of crazy shit, but once you start talking and influencing our worldwide public opinion, oh, well, now you have to be shut down. That's exactly what he just said, and nothing less.
Scared the shit out of people when that guy showed up at that pizza place and fired off a round, and and then they wound up
and they use their false flags like that to protect it. It's like, oh, this is what happens when you start speaking about politics. People go to a pizza place and start shooting up guns. See, this is the main thing with pizza. Again, anytime these assholes bring this perspective up, and this is why Joe Rogan is such a fucking piece of shit. He automatically takes the position of defending pedophiles when he says that, because instead of researching and investigating, which he claims to be a researcher, instead of doing that, and a real guy who talks on real things, instead of taking the position of, hey, if this is real, I need to investigate this shit. I need to find out what's going on. Instead of doing that, this piece of shit stands there and says, well, if you start talking about things like secret pedophile rings in the politics or the government and the religion and Hollywood, then you're gonna have people going to pizza shops and shooting up places. So instead of focusing the information on, or focusing the energy on researching whether or not this is actually happening to protect these potential kids that are being attacked and killed in many times and abused by these pedophiles, no, he immediately defends the mainstream storyline, the mainstream media. That is, if not the biggest reason why Joe Rogan is a piece of shit. He is the biggest trash bag out there. He's a total fucking garbage ass human being, because he's defending the defense mechanisms of the systems that are in cahoots with pedophile rings, that are in cahoots with the military industrial and the prison industrial complex, that are in cahoots with the KKK, that are in cahoots with people who are trying to sell you another agenda for the next control grid. He is the one that plays the outskirts. He's the gatekeeper of you being able to not, or of you being able to critically think for yourself or not. That's what he represents. And when you take it a step even further, you're going to be able to go into what I just said. He is the protector of that empire that has secret pedophile rings in there. He is nothing less than that. I don't give a fuck anything. Same thing with Alex Jones and TYT and all these other motherfuckers out there. And anybody else who's defending or trying to say, well, I'm not for destroying the Western civilization because we've done so much. We have so much information. We've got this technology, and we've brought everything. We've traveled the distant lands. We've traveled the distant stars. We've conquered people and brought them Western civilization. We know how many stars are out there. We know how far the sun is. We know how close the moon is. We've sent people to the moon. We're going to send people to Mars. We are the evolutionary peak of humanity. The intelligence of this earthly experience is based upon the way we interpret reality. Joe Rogan is one of these motherfuckers who are following the people who only listen to English accents. He is that guy. And in that same room is the Pope, is the Black Pope, are the pedophiles, and everybody else that's out there. It's not a separated system. It's not as separate as you think it is. And Joe Rogan is in these circles. Nothing less.
to them, and they really thought there was a dungeon in the basement where they're keeping kids.
Centralizing in social media is the cause for a lot of these reactions.
But is that centralizing in social media, or is that people exciting people to go and take action against something that may or may not even be real? Are you allowed to yell out fire in a crowded theater? Right. This is ultimately the problem.
No, it's not, Joe Rogan. You are allowed to yell pedophile around a fucking park. You can yell that, and that's exactly what's happening. And you're saying it's not equivalent. Yelling fire in a theater is not equivalent to yelling pedophile in a public fucking park, you piece of shit.
Right.
It's not whether or not he believes in Bohemian Grove, which is real, and he proved it on video back when they had VHS tapes, and I watched it. I mean, I've known Alex since 99, or 98, I think, maybe. I've known him for a long-ass time. And this is a very big difference between them.
The reason why he says that all the time is to add credibility to Alex Jones, to add credibility to his relationship with Alex Jones, and to add credibility to the people who still kind of believe in Joe Rogan, but are a little insecure because he doesn't really go into the conversations that Alex Jones goes into. So he's basically using like an Alex Jones wetsuit. He wears Alex Jones as a wetsuit in order to get his street cred up. He uses Alex Jones in order to get his intellectual conspiracy theory street cred. And when he does that, he doesn't have to go into the depths of what Alex Jones is really talking about. He only has to make you believe that he's close with Alex Jones. So he tells you that he's been knowing Alex Jones since the 90s over and over and over again. Not to make anything else, only to make you think that he has all of the information and he's credible up to Alex Jones's power cells. He's Alex Jones powerful equally. And you need to be listening to him, and you need to believe him.
And what's happening now as far as the reach and influence. And I think people are sort of panicking about reach and influence and what it means and how to mitigate it, how to change people, how to stop people from going into pizza places and shooting them up because they think that something that they heard online is true. There's a lot of stuff that people hear online that is just not true. You know, the lizards underground or the fucking earth being flat. There's a lot of stuff that's just nonsense. So it's hard to separate. Here's what I think.
People thinking the earth is flat and, being like Sasquatch and reptiles in the earth, and this is what I think. I think we are the super. Like, he just goes on and is like, oh, those idiots over there who think differently than the university systems. This is what I think. And you know how he said, this is what's real.
I think we are going through an adolescent stage as a being, as an evolving.
Here's that we shit again. This is the main. What he's getting ready to start talking about right now is the main reason. This was the trigger in my head. I should have started it here. We would have saved 7 minutes, but we'd have missed out on all the other fun stuff. But this point right now, I want to emphasize this point because I remember this point in this video because I already feel the fire rumbling in my stomach right now. This is when Joe Rogan is going to start talking about how, oh shit, now I lost my train of thought. Let's see what he's going to start talking about.
Being. And I think our bodies and our minds and our...
Okay, the adolescent. So this is that we shit. Yeah. He's that we shit means. What that means at the core is when he says we are as human beings, he's talking about post-Columbian white Western mentalities. The empire. That's what he means when he says we. And this is why I have so much difficulty with some people not really putting these pieces together. They are not talking about you. They're literally talking about the illusory universe. You heard the introduction to this. They were calling your universe that you can perceive with your own eyes laughable. And now here's the real universe in their illusory theoretical mindset being the evolved human being against every other Native American and indigenous person around the world, we are the ones that matter. We are adolescents. We are in an adolescent stage when the primitive and savage people, they were just infants or toddlers at best. And we came along and evolved them. So we have the authority on where humanity should go from now. That is why the evolution theory mind control program is so dangerous, and why people like Joe Rogan and Alex Jones, who protect that bullshit, need to be called out daily, on a daily fucking basis, because they are doing it. They are at work on a daily basis. So if your enemy is at work on a daily basis, what do you have to do? So this is him saying, we. They're not talking about you. They're talking about them. They're talking about their empire. And their empire exists at the expense of your ancestors, your people. And he's going to explain to you why and how arrogantly, like with this supreme arrogance, he's going to explain to you how we as a human being, like I said in previous videos, it's about how they define you. They set the definitions, they set the reality, they create your roots. They tell you this is what happens. This is your beginning, this is your end. This is how reality works. There's nothing else other than this. If something else is other than this, then you're crazy. But this is how it is. We are humans evolved from monkeys who created the technology that we have today, and we're going to go to the moon. And at this point, we're still dealing with some things in society where we are an adolescent consciousness, and we are dealing with this thing. And his whole we shit ain't got nothing to do with what happened before, with the colonial mindset, the Western mindset that has conquered and destroyed, that has no influence on the way we interact today. The ignoring of what happened to the indigenous people has no psychological and spiritual and physical influence on what's happening today. The military industrial complex and the prison industrial complex that add to the foundation of everything that you protect with your dumbass empire, that has nothing to do with the way humanity is experiencing itself today. You have to believe that if you follow pieces of shit like this guy. And the reason why you believe that is because of the way they explain things like this. When he gets on his high horse and starts making you believe what they believe.
Consciousness are becoming synchronized with technology. And along the way,
there it is. And like I said, the next agenda. Here is your simulation theory. Here's your transhumanism. Here is your evolution theory, all the way up through their bullshit up until now. He's just victimizing you into transhumanism. He's victimizing your consciousness into a hopeless state of just accepting whatever this system says. He's victimizing you into the simulation theory. And he's victimizing you into believing everything, anything, and everything that he says.
Like right now, we are in this chaotic, screaming, sweating, crying, pissing, shitting state of chaos.
No, you fucking pieces of shit are in that state. Pre-Columbian people, even now, people who aren't affected by this Western mind control parasitic bullshit, they are not like that. Your human definition is total bullshit. That is what's controlling the world. The way you define yourself. And these pieces of shit keep saying this, we, no. Your we only exists at the expense of my people. Your we exists sitting on top of the blood and the bones of my people. So take your definitions of we and shove it up your fucking ass. It has nothing to do with the real humanity. It has everything to do with the control grid that you are protecting, Joe Rogan. And I'm getting passionate and yelling right now and speaking directly to Joe Rogan as if he doesn't know what he's doing. Not to talk to him, to talk to the Joe Rogan that's inside of you. To talk to the Joe Rogan that's inside of every fucking body who's listening to this video right now thinking, this guy curses too much. He must be crazy. He must be a crazy conspiracy theorist. I'll be that every fucking day as long as I'm not like this piece of shit.
And we are looking to figure out how to stop the bleeding. We're looking to shove thumbs into dikes meaning like dams. And we are looking to try to figure out a way to stop the bleeding. We're trying to put...
He's talking about stop the bleeding of his empire. Stop the bleeding of what he protects.
Patches and band-aids on things. We're trying to manage the chaos. We're trying to figure out what... And this is a stage that we're going through. Because
there it is. Was that a Freudian slip? Or was that a statement? They're not trying to analyze the chaos. They're not trying to address or heal the chaos. What are they trying to do? Manage the chaos.
Hold on a second. This is a new thing. This is a new thing for human beings. The ability to communicate widespread over...
How the fuck does he know that? They don't know how they built the pyramids. They don't know how they built Machu Picchu. How does he know that the ability to communicate across the world didn't exist before your little punk ass flip phone or your little stupid ass smartphone? How the hell do you know? But the arrogance makes you think that he knows. And then beyond that, proof of some kind of communication is if you go to the Grand Canyon and you look at all the street signs in the Grand Canyon. Not really street signs, but they're just names of area. You go into the Grand Canyon, look at the street signs of the Grand Canyon. What's the name of those street signs? They're all Egyptian. They're Egyptian. And you go into any of these caverns, you'll find Egyptian artifacts because we have potentially had been moving or communicating, maybe, but they won't ever talk to you about that. You won't even be able to talk about it. You'll be called crazy if you start talking about that. Being called crazy ain't gonna take away from the fact that everything in the Grand Canyon is named after an Egyptian god. It's not gonna take away from the fact that Egyptian artifacts were found in there. This is not to be all on the nuts of Egypt. This is to emphasize the point that everything that this piece of shit is saying right now is totally invalid from that existence, from that reality. And that's one real provable thing. But since you don't know that, and the majority of people are not privy to that information, this piece of shit's gonna go about his business telling you what the reality is, his reality.
Millions and millions of people instantaneously is
only to protect their bullshit idea of the evolved being is a Western being.
Thing. So people have say that never had say before. They have influence that never had influence before. They have their ability to contribute, and they might not have thought these things through. And these things catch fire, and they run through dry forests like a goddamn tornado of flames that you see on CNN when the Mendocino fire up in Northern California.
Yeah.
This is what happens with ideas, because there's no way to contain them, and they don't know what's right or what's wrong. I think that what we're going through from the period of 1994 to the period of 2018 is like a crazy fire in the middle of a hurricane. It's like everything is nuts and no one knows how to...
It's nuts. It's crazy. It's on fire. Why? Look at that flag behind his head. What does that represent? That's on fire. Everything that holds up his power is on fire, and he's scared shitless, and he's at his last little energy cell, trying to hold on with that arrogance, trying to hold on with that ego, trying to convince people that nothing existed before Christopher Columbus, nothing existed before the university system, nothing existed before Western civilization. You don't need to look into any of that. You just need to listen to what we say and follow your little dumb ass into a simulation theory.
Stop it, and no one knows what to do. And what do? We get together in shelters, and we fucking give people water, and we try to stop the fire and take away everyone's lighters. And that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to take away lighters.
You're such a humanitarian taking away lighters, Joe Rogan. Oh, we should be thanking you for stopping people from critically thinking.
We're trying to stop people who start fires. And this is what's happening with Alex. And it's not that Alex is a bad guy. Is that
he's subconsciously basically he's like, people who think differently than what I'm saying right now, they're responsible for the Mendocino County fires. That's what they're telling. This is what these people think. It's like, oh, you're one of those fire starters. That's what he's gonna have people thinking when they walk out to the bar or go to Walmart or some shit. They're walking around looking at people's hair and the way they look, or a shirt or something, or a bumper sticker. You're one of those fire starters, aren't you? I heard Joe Rogan talk about this on a podcast on my new smartphone that Bluetooths to my car. I am one of those evolved people, and you're just a fire starter. You're a nuisance to society.
He's by himself.
Irresponsibility.
Okay? It's irresponsible to say that you know for sure a fact that these parents from Sandy Hook are crisis actors and their kids never died. It's irresponsible. Right. And he didn't think it was irresponsible when he was...
Is it not irresponsible to say that the way we communicate around the world has never existed before? Do you know for sure if we have never been able to communicate around the world before? But no, you're not going to say anything about how that's irresponsible. You're just going to go about your business about how, everybody else is irresponsible for questioning their reality.
Doing it because he's probably caught up in what he does, and he's caught up in the wave of ad-libbing, just like you and I are ad-libbing. Right. We didn't even talk about what the fuck we were going to talk about, right?
You just turned on, we went.
We just turned on and went. We had a couple of drinks.
Right. What you're saying there is very right. I don't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
But what you're saying there is very smart, because to me...
Oh, smart. Sound like Brian Callen. You're such a smart guy, Joe Rogan.
He has always been doing this.
Thanks for taking me from Mad TV.
Has grown.
Right. He's now, there's a wind behind him.
Right.
He used to be, in Seattle, it was raining every day, and he had a little patch of dry newspaper. He'd light that shit on fire, and everybody go, Alex is crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what I'm trying to articulate, and I'm not doing as well.
I am seriously considering making all of September or like 30 days straight of Joe Rogan videos. Just going and breaking these videos down. Each one, I'll go through another video. That would probably kill me, though. I'd probably be like, my body would start eating itself, because it's hard enough to... But it is a thought. Like, it's a thought that you could find this and you can break it down, maybe in like little videos. Maybe I'll do that. We'll see.
I wanted to, but I think what my problem is the synchronization.
Just like hundreds and hundreds.
What I'm not into. I think
billions and billions.
Just like you have a rut of people who believe that, now believe that the Sandy Hook thing is fake, and they're calling the families because of this conversation. This is where that lawsuit is really coming from, because the other people. But then you also have another side of it, and it could be
See, Sandy Hook chaos and all that, or false flags, they maintain that chaos that Joe Rogan was talking about managing.
Well, back in the day,
they're managing your time. They're managing your time through managing your chaos and through managing your consciousness.
And they said that Paul McCartney was dead. Right. And they got harassed, but it was on such a small
accidentally
level.
Disliked it, but I do dislike it.
There was no way to just email Paul McCartney and say, you're not the real Paul McCartney. You're fucking dead.
Not
you're
just that.
Faker.
There was no way to exchange these ideas among people
other
constantly
people. So you
in real time on Facebook all day long.
Which is the centralization that creates these rivers and these ruts that people who don't know what to do in, they fall into one rut or another, and they kind of become this kind of streamline.
Joe Rogan is a rut that people fall into. He's a rut that never evolves. He's a rut that protects every single thought pattern that comes from this self-destructive empire. He's a rut The mainstream media is a rut, no different than the ruts that this guy is talking about right now.
Thing. So I think the way you just described it is very articulate.
This is a new thing, man. This is a new thing. When we are in a really exciting time. But why I say that? Because they used to say that about the printing press. They used to worry about that with the written word. They used to worry about that with everything. The distribution of information is.
You see that? He can't even entertain the idea that parts of it might be unhealthy, because he has to protect first and foremost the empire. The empire states that technology, social media, and your smartphones are all the evolutionary peak of this reality. So it's basically infallible. There's nothing wrong with it. There can't be anything. It can't have parts of it that are unhealthy. Why? Why? Because you take pride in that. He's basically like protecting his mother. That's what he's doing. That's what Joe Rogan is doing when he takes positions like that. He could have easily went into an entire 20-minute rant with this guy about how unhealthy it is, but he has to maintain in this moment, after they just spoke about Sandy Hook and he's talking about Alex Jones, he can't go there because it'll look like he's defending Alex Jones. So he has to stay as far away from that perspective as possible. So far that he can't even entertain in this moment that social media and the way things are right now might be unhealthy. He has to take the polar opposite.
It's not whether or not it's healthy. It's just a part of what this being does. What this being does is constantly search for innovation and novelty. That's what the human being does.
But like the I guess,
right?
I guess.
Really? He's like, no, right? That's what that means. Agree with me. Come on. I brought you on my show and you look all cool with your glasses and we're smoking weed and drinking alcohol, right? You're supposed to agree with me. This is what this is meant to do. When he makes people agree with him, his audience agrees with him. And if you don't agree with him on his show, then that's people that aren't agreeing with his empire. And he has to defend that. And he will continually kind of like manipulate people. This is why some people feel so uncomfortable around him. You know, people, and look at this, and somebody who makes videos, look, you can, sees an interest in this because it's going to take some work. But you go through these videos and you actually catch when Joe Rogan is challenged by his guest. And you'll see a response to where he's what's the word for that? He's censoring them. And the response to him censoring them is people get uncomfortable and they get into that, well, you know, I don't think it's, I kind of, well, yeah, it's a little bit, it's kind of the same. No, and they never really get into anything that, because Joe Rogan is trying to maintain his control over the masses by maintaining his control over the people that go on his station. And he maintains control over the people by just having them tune into him. And it's not like he's the grand master. No, he has his puppet strings being pulled. So he maintains control over the masses by maintaining control over the guest, and the empire maintains control over the masses by maintaining control over Joe Rogan.
Yes, but look at your phone over there, man. You got a fucking.
And in response, they maintain control over the people, or in whatever it's called. So, yeah, now you'll see him go further and further and further into that defense program.
iPhone. Don't you think you could go to the people making iPhones and go, "Hey, bro, we're good. This is it.
This is
stop right there."
Stop. Yeah.
But it's not. We're not good. These motherfuckers are ready to come out with the iPhone 11.
They're like the guy.
They're not going to stop.
The guy invented.
He's like, yeah, this is great. Look at this empire. It keeps building. Yeah, we're gonna build an iPhone 3 million. Yeah, that's how cool we are. We're only at 10 right now, but we have the potential to be like forever iPhone. That's what he's. Yeah.
The web was invented hyperlinks.
It's deflection.
And the idea was that if someone wanted
to get high, dude. This is just.
I'm in. So
this was another part that I knew I had to share with people, because what weed does is it makes everything lighter. It breaks up the mood. It breaks up your ability sometimes, not all the times, but it definitely does in some way. It changes everything. Joe Rogan is losing. If this was a boxing match, Joe Rogan would be getting the shit kicked out of him. And now his way to fight back is to, and by fight and, you know, boxing match, I'm talking about like micro control measures. I'm talking about stuff we don't even see. It doesn't even have anything to deal with what they're actually talking about. I'm talking about what we can't see. He feels uncomfortable. He needs to change something because the subject is too revealing. It's too exposing and he can't go there. He also needs to start to potentially affect this dude's way to communicate. So he rolled a blunt, he got a blunt rolled and they're still drinking, but this is another control measure that they do to control the narrative. And watch how he changes. Like his atmosphere is gonna. You become more. Point being, you become more likable. You become more likable. You become more nice. You become more like. You go along with the conversation more easily when you're both high. Like that's one way. It's not universal because the other side is like for me, if I'm smoking around somebody and if he was trying to do something like that to me. Even if I wasn't even aware of it, I'll still be aware of with smoking weed. I'll still be aware and I'm still going to say whatever the hell that I got to say. But people who go along and follow like his guests, they're not going to go there. They're going to lean towards more towards being cool, being high, being smooth, being a part of the conversation. There's a word I'm trying to find the word for what that means. It's like, I think it starts with a B or something like no, more, not approachable, not like, it's like you go along with it, like you're more agreeable. That's not, there's another word too, but yeah, that's close enough to what I'm trying to say. It makes you more agreeable in a communication. Not like it has any kind of like formal, like not like it's written in some book somewhere, but generally in these situations, as complex as this situation is, being live, the guy's uncomfortable about being live on here. They're friends. They're talking about weird subjects. It's very uncomfortable. It's very exposing. What happens when you smoke weed in that situation and when you're being attacked, because that Joe Rogan is attacking him. When you're in that situation, smoking weed will make you more agreeable just so you don't have to deal with the bullshit. And that's what he's doing.
Like the guy invented the web. And I don't know his name, and I should know his name.
Al Gore, motherfucker.
No, right? Yeah,
what,
that's funny.
You think he lies?
So this cat, all he wanted to do was make it basically were like medical documents where you would say like, you know, this guy had a brain transplant, and then brain transplant would be underlined, and you clicked on that, and it would take you to a link that explained brain transplants, and that would be worldwide. So the internet is decentralized. And the web is decentralized to some degree. Okay. Now, Google coming in with search engines, like that's focusing points. What scares me is those people being like Facebook being the avenue in which everybody talks. Like I
Which would scare you is that weed I just handed you. Holy shit.
Deflection, distraction, exactly what Joe Rogan wanted to do. Maintain control over the conversation, over the narrative. Change the subject, make it look like it's all cool, maintain control as being in charge, the alpha, and also focus the conversation around being cool, around smoking weed, around anything other than how intense the conversation has become. Anything, that is the main intention. All those things. It's a control measure.
I took 2 hits and I'm not even here anymore.
Everybody can be cool when they're smoking weed. Everybody talks about weed smokers like this is all cool, right? We're part of the cool crowd. That's how he maintains control.
I'm in a neighborhood. I am very high. That's a blunt. That's legit. I took 2 hits.
I like the little
and
glass
I'm
thing.
nervous. Oh yeah, we don't fuck around here in California, son.
But you know what I mean? Like, I just have a problem with the centralization of the companies owning the avenues in which people talk.
I'm right with you on that. I think we need more YouTubes. I think we need more venues for people to distribute information. But I also think we need more love. I think this is more.
Joe Rogan, little Joe Rogan. We need more love. Here's your new age agenda coming in. We need more, and here's your belief in in our trust. That's a better word. Here's your trust in people like Joe Rogan, because they're all about love, right? Just like the going to war with Iraq was to protect us for the love of you. It's the same thing. Whether they want to scare them. First they control you by scaring the shit out of you. Now that everybody's calling them on their shit, now they want to control you by making you think that they love you. By making you think that everything is about love. We need more love. All right, let's see what Joe Rogan has to say about love.
Passion. There's so much hate and anger towards each other. Let's keep going.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to get nailed here on this because I am not.
Well, it's part of the nervousness about doing a live show, right?
Yeah, but
especially while you're intoxicated.
I'm not. I would say the same. Well, I mean, I'm not.
Especially while you're intoxicated.
I have a fucking drink, but I would
just
say
had 5 hits. I'm very nervous.
See, he's trying to. What's the word they use in the politics? Filibuster. He's like doing micro filibusters. That weed is a filibuster moment. And he maintains control because Joe Rogan's the weed guy. And then he says, oh yeah, everything that you're saying now, it loses a little bit of credibility because you're intoxicated. You see the words that he's using. He says, and then he has to defend himself because he knows that Joe Rogan is doing that. And he has to tell him, look, man, I'm not intoxicated. I had 1 drink and 1 hit. You trying to discredit me, punk ass. That's not gonna happen. I'm not drunk. I only had 1 drink, and we only took 1 hit off of this little blunt right now. So this is what Joe Rogan is. This is what Joe Rogan is doing, and this is what the guy is responding to him with. But you don't really see this conversation going on because it's happening just under the radar. It's happening in the non-communication communication.
I would say that this is one of those ones where they
see how he's beating
tobacco.
Beating like a fucking gorilla. He's like beating, he's controlling. It's just and believe me, I am not overstating this. I am not looking too deeply into this. If I had a psychological degree behind my name, if I had a PhD in psychology, you people who are saying I'm thinking this, they would never even say that, because I'm only hitting the surface of the psychology of this interaction. Go ahead and speak to an actual psychologist about what's happening in this interaction, and they'll tell you some way deeper than that.
Shit that was grown on Mars.
Mars.
Neil Armstrong grew this weed.
You see,
man,
he's joking. Now they're gonna go back to flat Earth and they're gonna start talking about shit while they're high. I think, if I remember correctly. But you see how he took that weed and he completely dominated and changed the subject, and he got it back to where he is now the authority of information, because everybody thinks flat Earth is, bullshit, and everybody thinks Neil Armstrong is just cool as shit, and everybody likes Mars because Elon Musk just sent a sports car on top of a rocket to Mars. That's the most American thing you could do. Like, that's the most... Oh, shit. Anyway, I want to end this shit. End the video already.
Again, it was just like there was a point.
Well, you're trying to make sense right now. This is part of the problem, right?
I know.
This is why I wanted us to get high.
And we're getting super serious about topics that mean a lot to people, and
we don't really know enough about them.
Right. I just feel like I just wish that there weren't, like, again, I feel like there's ruts that people have to fall in to communicate, and there's ruts that are owned by these companies that are very fucking rich and very.
Well, here's
expensive.
the thing too: these companies didn't see this coming. Like,
I'm libertarian. I'm not either way.
You see, he gets high, and now he can't. Like, he has no. Your ability to hide shit is kind of like, what's the word? It's affected in a way when you smoke weed. So he can't hide the way that he's defending the empire. Right now, he's going to go into a rant right now where he's just immediately defending the corporations. Like, who the fuck takes that stance in 2018? Well, apparently Joe Rogan had found a way to do it the same way the mainstream media does it. So if these people weren't around to defend it, you wouldn't have millions and millions of people believing the idiotic shit that's happening with like false flags and war and all this other stuff that's being pumped out of the mainstream media to manipulate people, because people will be able to think for themselves. But when you have people who are defending that, immediately it makes insecurities in people who are on the fence, and then they constantly fall off the fence back in to the sheeple mentality. And then when they climb the fence, they get enough courage to climb a fence again. People like Joe Rogan, who are sitting on the top of that gate as a gatekeeper, they're just kicking them right off the fence back into the sheep grounds. And then now what? He's doing that without people even recognizing it.
And just in the sense, I'm not really that. I don't even fucking know what that is. All I know is I don't believe in trusting anybody who says, hey, I'll take care of you, come this way, just don't worry about a thing, and they're the ones making all the money. And it's
watch how he kicks it down.
The internet has become. It used to be a wild west of information. Emails are fucking information.
See what he's saying right now. Watch how Joe Rogan responds to everything. He's not going to agree with what he's saying. He's either going to deflect, because I don't really remember. He's going to deflect, defend himself, like take offense, make himself the victim, or he's going to go into like how, defending the corporations.
That's me communicating with you and no one else seeing it. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I think the idea of Twitter and Facebook and all that is fantastic when it first started. But at this point in time, it's gotten so big. If it doesn't break up into something where people figure out that they are in control of the internet, not these other people, that's what it bothers me.
Okay, so what bothers you is that someone comes along and says the people aren't in control of the internet. So it's not like a free market. So
it is a free market.
You see how he just totally misrepresented what he just said. He didn't say what Joe Rogan just said. Joe Rogan let's hear that again, because that was pretty revealing.
Doesn't break up into something where people figure out that they are in control of the internet, not these other people. That's what it bothers me.
Okay, so what bothers you is that someone comes along and says the people aren't in control of the
No. It's not, there is no someone that comes along and says the people aren't in control of the internet. No, the people aren't in control of the internet. Corporations are in control of the internet. But you hear the wording of the way he put that out. Okay, so this is what, because the people are not going to listen to him, to the guy speaking. If they are, their ears are only consciously calibrated to listen to the guest up to about a 65% agreeability, whereas with Joe Rogan, at best, as Joe Rogan, they're in the 90th percentile. They agree with everything that he says. So when you have a 90 against a 60, 50, or a 40, depending on the individual who's on there, they're obviously going to side with Joe Rogan. So when Joe Rogan takes what the guy says and totally misrepresents it and totally shrinks it down to something that's not even what was said, that's when he controls the dialogue and manipulates the consciousness of millions and millions of people with shit like, okay, so you're saying when somebody comes along and says, no, somebody didn't come along. This is an actual fucking fact. It's a fact. The power of social media is controlled by algorithms that are controlled and manipulated by corporations, big businesses like Facebook, Apple, Spotify, the policies of the mainstream media. That's what that guy was talking about. But in order to control and maintain the being right, more righter than that guy, he has to shrink it down and make it into something that he can attack. And that's what he did in that statement.
Internet. So it's not like a free market. So
it is a free market.
Come on. it was
Sorry.
a free market. It's a free market. A guy like Alex Jones, you'd say, this guy's preposterous. I'm not listening to him anymore. When it's not a free market is when YouTube I don't know if they collaborate or if they just all agree.
Knows?
I don't know if they all agree, but they just all decide. Everyone's going to take them off. Facebook's going to suspend them for 30 days. Twitter's going to suspend them for a period of time. YouTube's going to remove them. All these people are going to take Vimeo, jumped on ship, and they pulled them off too. So this becomes an issue. Like, what is it that causes you to get removed? What is it? And should we be really clear on that, or is...
That's not the question. That's the question the corporations want you to think is the question. Because where does that set up the corporations, and where does that set you up? That sets the corporations up as the authority of information and truth, and it sets you up as powerless in response to them. The only influence that you have in that communication is hoping that whatever you think in response to the question that he just brought up is, you hope that whatever you think is going to happen. But ultimately, just like the presidential selection, ultimately they are going to have the say in the long run. And Joe will agree with that, because he's agreeing with that right now by presenting this question the way he did. He's creating powerless scenarios and creating powerless for the people and powerful for the corporations, to where they have to ask questions and they have the authority to kick them out. So it's not the question of whether or not, let's see how he worded that again.
Is a valid reason to pull people off of our airways. Because if you...
What is a valid reason to pull people off of the airways? That's what he's saying. A valid reason for the corporations to pull your free speech from their platform. What's a valid... So he's saying, like, what's a valid reason to go against on a constitutional fucking like belief system? What's a valid reason to break the First Amendment of the Constitution? Or what's a good reason to, like, kill freedom of speech? What's a good reason for these corporations to say, with their all-powerful position, to say that little old individual you don't have a voice. You are being, hateful, or you're being this, or you're being that. What's a good excuse? And what happens to people is that they believe that there is a good excuse that these people should have power over us and should be valid in what they're doing. He defends it by the way he puts these questions up.
Have stuff on your airways that's far more vile, and you let that stay up because it doesn't have the same reach. Like, what is your criteria? It doesn't have the same influence. It doesn't have the same political ties to it. Like, what is the reason why you're pulling one thing off and not another thing? Is it because of a popularity issue? Have you searched your trillions of fucking hours of footage for offensive speech, content, ideas, disinformation? What have you really done to mitigate this issue? Or are you acting on this because it's a social hotspot issue right now, which it most certainly is and most certainly should be?
See, he's missing the whole thing again. It's not about, obviously that's impossible. There's 400 hours of information being uploaded to YouTube every fucking minute. They're not going to be able to do anything about the is it hour every minute or every hour? I think it's every minute. There's some like 400 hours of information being uploaded to YouTube only. So that's impossible to go against. So what he's saying is he's trying to set up the corporations as the victim, and basically saying, oh well, they're just doing what they can. They're just hitting the big influencers while they can. So his whole argument is just total bullshit, and it's designed to. My main point why I'm saying anything is to emphasize how he's protecting the corporations. He's setting up the corporations to be the authority of this reality and have and being valid in making the decisions about what is real, what is true, and what we should be discussing on a worldwide scale.
I really think that Alex needs a guy right next to him. He really
really?
Alex and I did a show
I feel
together.
that way about Howard.
You know what that statement says? Alex Jones, everything he says is cool because I'll sit next to him, but I'm cooler. I'm more real. I'm the authority that will help Alex Jones be more real. So if we team up and come together, we will be able to expose what's going on from a more rational perspective, because me, the average Joe, the average rational Joe, will be able to control the extreme questioning of the reality of Alex Jones. And also, he's just adding credibility to himself. He's using Alex Jones to make himself look more real, more honest, and also connected to Alex Jones, like I said. So he's using him as a wetsuit, but also using him as to prop himself up.
Stern.
Man, no, not the same comparison, because Howard's. Listen, man,
I listen to him every day, but sometimes I want to be like, dude, are you kidding me?
Well, that's also part of his charm. Part of his charm is he creates dissent and arguments, and you want to get mad, and you want to he's opinionated. Well, but Howard Stern's very responsible. He's a different guy. It's not the same thing.
I mean, I'm not trying to compare Alex to him. I'm just saying that sometimes I feel the same way about him and
people feel that way about us right now.
Oh yeah, people tell me quit cutting fucking Giorgio Moroder tribute records and do a country record, and I do a country record right now, and they're like, it's kind of corny. No, I got a record coming, by the way.
I'm sure you do, dude. All
right, that's it for that. This video's gone on long enough. I just wanted to add to the series of Joe Rogan videos that are going to be coming up now. I'm thinking about doing some shorter ones now. I'm going to put them all under the same thumbnail because I want to make this a thing, a series, if possible, for as long as I can, because as long as he's on there, I mean, he's going to be spoken about. I mean, and this goes for not only people like Joe Rogan, but other people that are also protecting this empire, who speak about this information only to a certain degree. Like the guy Quantum of Conscious calls this calls something like Joe Rogan, I think he calls it like the Animal Farm. Something kind of like a extended Animal Farm, or something bigger than another kind of Animal Farm. Well, when you're not talking about Western civilization, the colonization of the indigenous people, you're a fucking animal farm too. Like, if you're defending any of this Western bullshit, you're an animal farm too. So people, it's not only Joe Rogan, it's these YouTubers who are out there who are being promoted by YouTube, who are being promoted by the mainstream media, only to make you think about subjects or ideas up to a certain point. So they'll talk about flat earth, they'll talk about this, they'll talk about that, but they'll come from this arrogant perspective and not even having researched any of this shit. But since they've been promoted in certain ways, or since they seem like they got a good grasp on reality, the people are gonna flock around these stepping stones and just continue to do that, run themselves into another wall, following these people around and around and around. Meanwhile, they're not even really talking about the shit that really matters. And if they are, they're not talking from a space of empowerment. They're talking from a space of victimization, or they're talking from a space of that's just the way things are. This power grid exists. That's how a lot of these people are talking. And you won't know what they're really about until people actually ask them what they're about. Like I said, Joe Rogan, Quantum of Conscious, Jesse Spots, all these other people that are out there. We might talk pretty soon on a live event, but that's when you really know who you're talking about. And I only want to go on those live streams because I want to ask them, because they spend so much time talking about what they're against, but they don't spend any time talking about what they're for. So you only know 50% of these people. You don't know how far they're willing to go in reference to addressing the society, speaking on the society. Anybody can talk about how, fucked up things are, but that's only 50% of the story. The other percent of the story is where you fit, where your story is, how you are going to approach what it is that you say is fucked up. And people stay in their little comfortable bubble where they are constantly praised. And when you're constantly praised by the masses, you won't be as censored as everybody else. In fact, you'll be promoted. And so people talk about these beta subjects. You can't talk about alpha subjects unless you are an alpha subject yourself. So these beta ass men like Joe Rogan and all these other people trying to protect this Western civilization, they are only seemingly alpha because they are the highest beta in the beta system. This is not to be like all prideful or egotistical as far as in alpha. I'm talking about you can take alpha outside of the individual and alpha into the subject, the information. The subjects that you talk about are either alpha or beta. And that's the main point. We are being controlled by these beta unit, robotic transhumanism, simulation theory pushing, punk ass pieces of shit. And they will consistently be promoted to you. And they will be used within this agenda to promote a particular beta storyline. And as alpha as Joe Rogan and all these other people appear to be, they will always max out at being a beta ass unit human being. Because they are living in an illusion, protecting an illusory world. So on that note, if you made it to the end of this video and you listen to any of these other people talking about this beta unit sort of consciousness, let them know. And if you are one of these people who are pushing these beta unit perspectives out there and you have some little butthurt emotions about it, put it in the comment section and we'll talk about it, or we'll talk about it live sometime. On that note, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the support, and thank you for, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for tuning in and sharing this information. I do appreciate it. So until next time, from all my relations, peace, love, and harmony.